Shogi is a Japanese strategy board game enjoyed by people of all ages, from children to the elderly. In this video, we'll help you to start playing Shogi by explaining how to arrange and move the various pieces. We'll also go over the basic rules in an easy-to-understand manner. But first, there's someone we'd like to introduce. Sho-chan, the official character of the Japan Shogi Association. Sho-chan will ask some common questions about playing Shogi. A shogi board has 81 squares, with 9 vertical and 9 horizontal rows, and the game is played by moving pieces around those squares. Shogi originated from a game called Chaturanga, which was played in ancient India about 4,000 years ago. There are many games around the world besides Shogi that have also originated from Chaturanga. Sho-chan, Shogi has a unique rule that no other game in the world has. Do you know what it is? The answer is, the opponent's piece you took can be used as your own. With the creation of this rule, the game quality of Shogi improved. Shogi became a complex game that is loved by many. Shogi is the only game in the world in which you can use the pieces you took. This is one of the interesting points of Shogi. By the way, the pentagonal shape of the pieces like Sho-chan is also unique to Shogi. Now, let's take a look at how to play Shogi. Helping us with a demonstration are 2 Shogi professionals.
よろしくお願いします。
Sho-chan greets the professionals. Thank you for coming. Sho-chan, I understand you want to play now. But Sho-chan, before we go over the rules, we need to mention some important etiquette in Shogi. Shogi is a game in which we really value the spirit of traditional Japanese culture, beginning with courtesy and ending with courtesy. You should be polite and respectful to anyone who competes with you. Let's remember those manners first. In Shogi, playing against the opponent is called taikyoku. When you start the game, you face the opponent properly, while bowing. Start by saying, "Onegai shimasu."
お願いします。
お願いします。
If you lose, you have to say, "Makemashita."
潔く負けましたと言おう。
負けました。
ありがとうございました。
When the game ends, you should put away the pieces neatly. When you are done putting everything away, bow to the opponent once again. Say thank you to express gratitude to the opponent.
ありがとうございました。
ありがとうございました。
Start with a bow and end with a bow. Sho-chan, that's an important part of the culture in Japan. Next, here's how to prepare for the game. The first step is to arrange the pieces in a certain position on the shogi board. By the way, the Japanese characters on pieces come in a variety of calligraphic styles. In this video, we'll explain using this single character type piece, which is easy to read. You and your opponent each have 20 pieces. There are 8 different types. First, we arrange these pieces like this. Be sure to place kaku and hisha in this order. It seems Sho-chan has a question. In what order should the pieces be arranged? In general, arrange them in this numbered order. Once you get used to playing shogi, try to arrange them in this order. This is how the pieces are arranged before the game begins. In shogi, there is an area called a camp. The first 3 zones in front of you are called your camp. The first 3 zones in front of your opponent are called the opponent's camp. During the game, if your piece enters the opponent's camp, you can promote the piece by turning it over. After it is promoted, its movement changes. So be sure to remember this. Now, here's another question from Sho-chan. If the piece enters the opponent's camp, do I have to promote it? The answer is you can decide if you will promote it or not. In some cases, promoting a piece could restrict some of its original moves. Take a good look at the situation before you decide if you will promote it or not. By the way, when you drop your piece in hand into the opponent's camp, you can't drop it in the state of being promoted. When you move your piece from the opponent's camp, you can promote it. In shogi, when explaining which square a piece is moved to, we use a notation. The vertical rows of the shogi board are called files, which are assigned numerals from 9 to 1, while the horizontal rows are called ranks. These are numbered in kanji. We use these vertical and horizontal numbers to explain where to move the pieces. For example, if you move this piece, fu, to this square, we say 7, roku, fu. Hey, Sho-chan, what's up? Oh, you want to know what to say if I move this hisha here? The answer is 8, go, hisha. Notations are useful to know when you learn shogi, so remember them. Now, we'll explain the characteristics of each of the 8 types of pieces and the range in which each can move. Let's see how promoting each piece changes the range of its movement. You should also know which pieces cannot be promoted. First, Osho and Gyokusho.
これは
Both pieces are often called Gyoku for convenience.
玉は
Gyoku can only go one square in all directions,
でも
but it cannot be promoted. The characters are slightly different, but you can regard them as the exact same. This is called Kinsho, or
または
Kin.
金と呼ばれています。
It can go one square in any direction except diagonally backwards. Kin also cannot be promoted. This is called Ginsho, or Gin.
金とも呼ばれています。
It can go one square forward or any square diagonally. Gin can be promoted, and it changes into a piece called narigin. This movement is the same as kin. It can go one square in any direction except diagonally backwards. Keima is also called kei. It can go two squares forward and one square horizontally. Of all the pieces, only keima is special. It can jump over other pieces when it moves. Sho-chan is surprised.
なると
If keima is promoted, it changes into a piece called narike. This also moves the same as kin.
強者は
Kyosha is also called kyo.
前に
It can go as many squares forward as you want. If kyosha is promoted, it changes into a piece called narikyo. This too moves the same as kin. This is Hu-hyo, also called Hu. It can go only one square forward. If Fu is promoted, it changes into a piece called Tokin.
という駒になって
This movement is also the same as
同じ
kin.
になります。飛車は
Hisha can go as many squares vertically or horizontally as you want.
なると
If Hisha is promoted, it is called Ryuo or
と呼ばれ
Ryu.
て
It can move just like Hisha, as well as one square diagonally in any direction.
角行
Kakugyo is also
と
called
呼ばれてい
kaku.
て
It can go as many squares diagonally in any direction as you want.
なると
If it is promoted,
また
it
は
is called Ryuma or Uma. It can move just like kaku, as well as one square forward, backward, or sideways. Each piece has its own characteristic. Isn't it interesting, Sho-chan?
将棋は
When you move the pieces in shogi, making use of each piece's characteristic is the key to becoming stronger.
しっかりと覚えておこうね。駒を
Once the
並べ終わったら
pieces are arranged, it's time to start playing.
まずはじめに
Now, we need to decide who moves first.
駒を動かすか順番を決めます。
Oh, Sho-chan, do you know how we decide?
じゃんけんじゃなくて
In shogi, the order of moving pieces is determined by a method called furigoma. To do furigoma, either you or your opponent takes 5 fu from your pieces. You shake them well in both hands and scatter them on the board so that they do not fall off. If 3 or more face up with who, the person who shook is the first player. If 3 or more face up with to, the person who shook is the second player. Now we've decided who moves first. Sho-chan, do you remember? When you start a game, you face the opponent properly and start with a greeting, right? Start off by saying "onegai shimasu" to them.
お願いします。
お願いします。
When the game starts, move your pieces toward the opponent's gyoku. If you checkmate or take the opponent's gyoku, you win. On the other hand, if your gyoku is checkmated or taken, you lose. You must think about not only attacking, but also defending. Sho-chan wants to know, if you want to move your piece toward the opponent's gyoku but can't due to the opponent's defense, what should you do? You can take a piece that's in the way with your piece. Then, when your turn comes, you can drop the piece you took into a vacant square. As we said in the beginning, you can reuse the pieces you took. Remember? You can drop them anywhere as long as it's not illegal. And you can suddenly place them in the opponent's camp. So you can attack the opponent at once. For example, in this situation, the opponent's gyoku is in a situation where it will be taken in the next move. This situation is called ote. The side that is checked lets the gyoku run away so that it won't be taken. Or, in other cases, if you don't put any piece in between, you'll lose, so be careful. In this position, no matter how the opponent moves their gyoku, it will be taken away. This situation is called tsumi, or checkmate in English. Sho-chan, don't make such a sad face. If your gyoku is in this situation, you should admit defeat with good grace and tell your opponent, "Makemashita."
負けました。
ありがとうございました。
Finally, we'll introduce some of the Kinjitei, or illegal moves in English, that must not be done as a rule. If you make Kinjitei, you will lose on the spot for foul play. Sho-chan, even if you think I won't make any illegal moves, you may do so accidentally, so be careful. The first Kinjitei is Nifu, double pawn.
縦の列に
If there are two of your who in a vertical row, you lose by foul play. When you drop who from pieces in hand, make sure that one of your who is not in the same vertical row. But it's not illegal if your tokin and who are lined vertically. Trying to move a piece where there is nowhere to move is also considered Kinjitei. Uchifuzume is Kinjitei, where a player directly checkmates the opponent's king with a pawn drop. It's also foul play.
注意しようね。
Be careful. In addition to Kinjitei, Shogi has some special rules for when there is no way to settle the game. They're a little difficult, so ask someone who knows the rules of Shogi well. These are the basic rules of Shogi. Once you've learned the rules, try and play Shogi. Sho-chan seems eager to play Shogi right away. If you want to play Shogi, try searching for a dojo or a training hall nearby and go play it there. You can also play Shogi with computer software or on an internet Shogi site. Sho-chan, looks like you're excited about playing Shogi. The more you play Shogi, the more you will discover how interesting it is. Try playing Shogi with various people and in various places. See you!